Hello, my name is Julie Gonzalez, and today I will be talking about combating suicide in the U.S. Air Force through expanded mental health access. For every 100,000 airmen, 64 took their own life in 2022, a harrowing increase from the 51 just a year earlier. The number is more than just a statistic report. It represents dozens of lives lost, with everyone in this room being a fellow airman, spouse, friend, or child. Each figure tells a story of quiet suffering, including untreated mental health crises, missed warning signs, and the devastating impact felt throughout their neighborhoods, communities, and families. You are promptly impacted by this issue even if you are not in the military. Every day, our country is protected by the Air Force's readiness and safety. We lose more than just a military member when an airman commits suicide. We lose their knowledge, their training, and their contribution to our national defense. Every taxpayer bears a portion of the financial, strategical, and emotional cost. I feel a great obligation to speak up about this topic because I spent a lot of time studying the relationships between the mental health and the military readiness, and because I have personally witnessed the toll it takes on imposed service members. In addition to scholarly research, I have gained information by hearing airmen and veterans' perspectives on their frustrations, anxiety, and their aspirations for a better system. The significant problem of rising suicide rates in the Air Force is caused by poor access to mental health care, and this could be solved by expanding on-base services and requiring annual confidential counseling. We first must acknowledge the gravity and urgency of this issue to comprehend why we need a solution that is necessary. With suicide rates rising in dangerous and intolerable levels, the Air Force is experiencing a mental health crisis. The individual lost, their families, their units, and ultimately the operational readiness of the U.S. Air Force. A suicide in a squadron leaves emotional scars on peers, leaders, lowering morale, and eroding trust within their unit. Systematic, proactive approaches are effective and demonstrated by the U.S. Air Force's Suicide Prevention Program, or the AFSPP. In the late 1990s, which reduced mortality from 68 to just 20 in 5 years, and suicide rates by 21% per quarter, American Journal of Public Health, this demonstrates that the lives are saved when the U.S. Air Force allocates funds and requires participation. As a crucial preparedness, Defense Department commanders are already approving updating, preventative training, and increasing access to counseling. Annual confidential counseling would be in line with the current priorities and guarantee that each airman sees a qualified professional regularly. Numerous military members have already benefited from the free private counseling offered by the military's one source in terms of stress readiness, resilience building, and performance enhancements. The stigma associated with asking for help is eliminated when that type of assured access is extended on base and becomes common in everyday life of service life. Critics can claim that it interferes with operational duties and that expenses are too high. However, delay comes at a far higher cost in the form of lost lives, shattered families, and diminished preparedness. This strategy is not only necessary but successful, as demonstrated by the AFSPP's past achievements and ongoing private counseling programs. This is a life or death issue, not merely a military policy dispute. You have a part to play too. Rising suicide rates in the Air Force are real and a preventable tragedy. Proven preventative initiatives, more staff, and required confidential therapy can address the underlying causes of inadequate access and confidentiality fears. I advise you to write to your Air Force leadership, speak with your politicians, and support policies that require all airmen to have a yearly mental health check-in. Dispute these figures, have frank conversations with military members about mental health, because here silence is the real enemy. Each airman enlists to serve our country at the risk of their own life. They shouldn't have the chance of dealing with untreated mental health issues at home. We need the will to act now. We have the means and the proof and the moral initiative. The ability of the Air Force to protect our country's readiness relies on its citizens, whether they are military or just random civilians. The defense is weakened when an airman takes his life, and when dozens are lost annually, that readiness gap is difficult to fill. According to the Associated Press, suicide among active duty members rose from 51 in 2021 to 64 in 2022, nearly a 25% increase in just 1 year. This is not a slow trend, it's a sharp spike that signals a worsening crisis. According to the U.S. Defense Department, officials confirmed that most of these suicides involve young male troops and the use of firearms, which is the highest likelihood of fatalities. This adds urgency to both the cultural and structural barriers to care. Now that we are made aware of this issue, let's examine the cause. Many airmen are unable to get mental health they care or solely need because of mixed practical difficulties, social stigma, and confidentiality concerns. Though many bases lack enough skilled therapists to fulfill demand, Randy's study indicates that military members face mental health issues comparable or greater than civilians. Randy meaning the research on suicide prevention in the U.S. Air Force. In a crisis, some airmen would not have the time to wait a few weeks or months to see the help they need. Airmen frequently steer clear of mental health treatments because they think it could damage the reputation of their careers. Many people deterred from requesting assistance by the idea that risk, even in cases when they are protected by the government's policies, and the lack of fear that it will follow you for the rest of your professional career. Many airmen fight unseen wounds alone because of this anxiety. Although acknowledging these obstacles is the first step, the issue will continue if nothing is done about it. Increasing the number of on-base mental health specialists and coordinating mental health into your routine, readiness inspections, and mandating that all airmen participate in an annual confidential therapy session are some ways Air Force might help deal with the situation. Thank you.